This is a subject of Speedo repair. I'm not sure where I got this, but I have a 14-page document, and I don't know where I got it, but I've got it and I've used it a few times. It's written by Gordon, F-I-A-C-H-E-R, Fisher, in '94, and it's labeled the Beaver Chapter of Portland, Oregon, of MAFCA. And it tells in detail how to repair a speedometer, Model A speedometers. I've used page 13 quite a bit because that tells how to remove the main shaft, that when that gets in a bind, you're really in trouble. The cable just can't turn the speedometer. So you have to remove the shaft, clean it, re-lube it, and put it back in. And this tells how to do it. My problem is I only have a Xerox copy here, and it's been copied a few times. I'm looking for a digital copy of this so I can share it with people, because faxing 14 pages is not the thing to do. Well, what we're going to do, the Oakleaf, a few of us from the Oakleaf region of Mark, we're going to try to do this on video, show you how to take out that main shaft, because until you can get that shaft turning, that speedometer's not worth much. So we're going to follow page 13 and maybe show a few people how to get that shaft out. Here's the speedometer we're going to take apart and try to fix a bound up shaft. It won't turn and it's breaking Speedo cables. And this is not hard, but not real easy. This comes off, and I had to pry it off the first time. So this is a lot easier than it really is, because I've already been into this thing. So that the face comes off like so. Then to get this, the main body out, take this screw out in the back. And that lets the whole thing out, it says here. There it is. So there's your shell. Here's your speedometer. Goes up to 75. And those instructions tell how to redo all of this. I'm just talking about that main shaft. We have to take this out, this little plate out, take this whole shaft off. So let me work on that. Now there's 4 screws that hold this wheel, the Speedo wheel, the number wheel on. I've got 3 of them out. And get this last guy out. Then this whole thing lifts right off. And you got to be careful with that, be tender with it. This is the shaft we're trying to get out. This is the magnet, and the main shaft goes down and goes to this. Now this was really hard before. They say make a tool to get this out, a little spanner tool. I was able to get this out with a pair of needle nose pliers, and it came out. And there is your beveled gear that operates the bevel gear inside. Then you have to get this little plate off. You generally push it off out from the inside. And then there's a you can't see it. There's a bevel gear just like this one inside here, coming up like that. And the trick now is to place a pin 3/32 on that bevel gear and press this shaft out. And what they tell you to do, my block of wood broke on me a while ago. You have a block of, I have oak with 2-inch hole in it, and you place that over there, and that makes sure you don't hurt the shaft or the magnet. And then put this in a vise or something and press the shaft out, and that'll leave the with a little bevel gear, and then you can work on the shaft, clean it up, and free it up and lube it. And then when you put it back together, it's a little touchy. You have to put that gear back on, press it on again, and you may have to make some tools to do that. And you may have to smudge it a little bit too at the end. The instructions say a certain kind of Loctite. But so we'll take the shaft out. Now, as far as getting that shaft out, this is the setup I have. A little hard to see. I've got the wooden block in there, the oak block with a 2-inch hole in it, and the magnet is sitting in there. And then here I've used a socket with a little bit in it that is about 1/10 of an inch in diameter. It's a little star bit. You need something in there, they say a mandrel that's 3/32 in diameter, to press against the shaft. So I've got that, and then you put it in a vise, and then you press the shaft out. Now this looks easy. It is pretty hard to get that shaft out of there and get the little gear off of there, the bevel gear. This is the setup I used. A little bit with about 1/10 of an inch in diameter. It looks like a Torx, and I just put it in a socket, put it against the vise, and I was able to press it out. Now here's the little bevel gear that came off. That mates up with the other one that that is driven by the speedometer cable. And this is a press fit on the end of the shaft. So you take the shaft out, and that's the end where the gear is pressed on. And I'll have to press it back on. But this is the culprit in here that you have to lube. Shine it up and lube it, and there's a little felt there. And once you lube it, it'll last an awful long time before it needs help again. But this is kind of a last resort. It's not easy taking this out, and putting it back in is real touchy, because if you bend or hurt the magnet, you're done. You don't have a speedometer after that. And notice that there's threads on here, and that's what drives the speedometer. So that turns the wheels. So you got to be careful there that you don't mess up that one. So you lube this, you clean it up, lube it, put it back together. Now this is important. Here's your shaft, here's the little bevel gear, and it's going to have to go back on this shaft, to the end of the shaft. So, and this probably got burred up a little bit, so clean that up a bit so that you can start it on there, and then we're going to press the whole thing together and press this back onto the shaft. To put the bevel gear on, in fact, I just realized that I should have taken this cross shaft out, because when I press this shaft out and back in, I probably damaged that, so I might have a throwaway speedometer here. At least the mileage won't work. If I did damage it, and I think I probably did. Now the way I made that press the gear on the main shaft, I used a small socket that fit right in the center of the bevel gear, and then on this side I used a little bigger socket that would push on just the shaft here, and then I put it in a vise, and my bevel gear would go on the end of the shaft, and then I pressed it on. Now let's get her back together. Put this sleeve in here, and hope those bevel gears match in there when they get this baby driven home. Okay, this is turning. When I turn this, so the bevel gears are matching. Well, I got a little bit here, and let's see if it works. Spins good. And you know, I think that shaft is moving, so maybe I didn't damage anything. Anyway, turns easy now, and maybe I have this speedometer that'll work now. Put this little plate back in, put the top on, put it back in, and that's pretty simple stuff. Hope this helps somebody. My next one will be a lot better. This was a practice one. We're going to try to find a bad speedometer somebody has and fix it. Be very careful on my next go around. Okay, the learning curve keeps going. I did mess up this worm drive in here, but you just tap this in that direction, this thing pops out, the worm drive comes out. I cleaned up the threads, and it works. Not the cleanest, but next time you do it, I do it, take that baby out, and this guy does the same thing. You just tap that in that direction, and this big brass bushing comes out. And now I'm going to put it back together and try it. Still spinning easy. A couple of rough spots where it goes over a little bird gear there, but it's fine. Well, it seems to work. Can't quite hold the speed steady, but it seems to work. I'll put it back together. Like I said, the next one will be a lot better. Alright, I got it back together, and one last run here. And we'll wait for the next one.